Hello and welcome to another fun comedy episode here at Movies You Miss Podcast. I'm Vee.
And I'm John.
After our month of horror and last week's light Disney palate cleansing episode, we decided to stick with that and go with some 80s comedies this week.
Yeah.
And I was so excited for this episode because I've been wanting to introduce my pick to John for quite some time.
Yes, I had not seen your pick. My parents are major fans of it, and I just had never gotten around to seeing it.
Well, so are my parents, as well as my sister and a couple of my friends, so tread lightly if you didn't enjoy watching that movie this week. We have a bunch of listeners who are big fans of my pick.
Oh, boy.
And we got lucky because both of our picks happen to be on the same streaming service this week, which is always a lot of fun.
Yes.
And so we're going to dive into them in just a little bit. John's going to go first since this is an odd episode, but we want to take a second to introduce ourselves. We are two movie industry veterans who love to recommend movies to you without spoiling them. Thank you all so much for joining us, no matter if this is your first episode or your 187th episode.
Yeah.
And we also like to discuss the new movies we've seen in theaters or on streaming this week. So John, did you see anything new?
I did. I saw 2 new movies, one re-release. Just want to shout this out because we're going to be doing these movies in the future. I finally, for the first time, got to see Back to the Future in theaters for its 40th anniversary re-release.
Fun.
And that was so spectacular. It's such a great movie. The trilogy is incredible, and if anybody was able to do it, I hope you had as much fun as I did.
Oh, that's awesome. It seems like a great movie to see in theaters.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine what it was like back in the 80s when it first came out, but oh my gosh, it was a great experience, and the theater was pretty packed, and everybody had a great time.
Good.
And then I saw 2 new movies in theaters over this last week. I'll start with the one that I didn't hate, but certainly did not love, and that is Predator Badlands.
Oh, disappointing.
Big time, yeah. I did not know this was a PG-13 movie. I also did not know that this was going to be a forced comedy movie. I also did not know that this was going to be a stupid, let's make the somewhat of a sidekick adorable type. Very disappointing. Dan Trachtenberg, I can only imagine that the producers completely breathed down your neck to do some of this stuff because Prey and Killer of Killers is so badass, and this movie was a family-friendly film.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Predator movies are not family-friendly, ever.
No, I was certainly let down with that aspect. I saw it on 4DX. The 4DX was awesome. Great special effects. Excellent soundtrack. But Dakota Fanning's character was a bit annoying. Like I said, there's no need for a little sidekick that he's supposed to be... Yeah, so Predator Badlands, give it a shot if you want. I give it like a C+.
Especially after Prey with a strong female character. It's
Yeah,
so weird for him.
It was certainly something that was interesting, and my biggest problem was that there were so many kids in the audience, and all they kept doing was laughing and awing at certain moments, and I'm just like, this is not a Predator movie.
Oh, I would have walked out.
Yeah, I didn't, but either way. Like I said, give it a shot if you want. I guess it's worth seeing.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, not really. After much deliberation, I was just kind of like, wow, that was not what I expected at all.
Well, that's a bummer. I was really excited
Big
for that
time.
film.
Yeah, so was I. Second film I saw certainly blew that one out of the water. This is Oscar Isaac, Mia Goth, Jacob Elordi, Christoph Waltz, which was the biggest problem I had with the movie because that was a character added on Guillermo del Toro's behalf, a completely unnecessary character that drives the story forward, which in my personal opinion I don't think we really needed because we know the whole lore of Victor Frankenstein. Either way, minus all of that, the movie is really damn good. Excellent soundtrack, costumes incredible. Oscar Isaac was badass, and so was Jacob Elordi. He was really good as the creature. Highly recommend seeing Frankenstein in theaters if you can. It just came out on Netflix, and I will say that I liked it so much I watched it twice in less than 24 hours.
Nice. I'm really excited for that film. I really want to try to see it in theaters.
I highly recommend doing the theater treatment first before you watch it at home on Netflix.
Great.
Yeah, so that is what I saw over the last week.
Okay.
And V, did you see anything new in theaters or on streaming?
I did. I saw 2 new movies, both of them on streaming.
Nice.
One of them I think is appropriate for this week, considering what you watched. I finally watched Predator, Killer of Killers.
Oh, all right.
This is the best action movie of the year.
Yeah, it's so badass, right? And it's animated, which is so killer. No pun intended.
It really, really is. I think it's by Sony Animation Studios, and their style of animation is so incredible. Definitely reminded me of Into the Spider-Verse, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Highly, highly recommend this film. It's so good. Great storyline too. Good acting. A lot of the voices you'll recognize. Like I said, I think it's the best action movie or one of the best action movies of the year.
Certainly.
And it's certainly on my can't miss list, and it's currently streaming on Hulu.
Hell yeah.
The other movie I watched was terrible, and no one should see it.
Ooh, okay.
I had been hearing rumors that it wasn't great, but I do love Rebecca Ferguson a lot, so I really wanted to give her a chance.
Yeah.
She is Ilsa Faust in some of the Mission Impossible movies. I really love her. She's also in the Silo series on Apple TV. She's been in a lot of great stuff lately. And this is A House of Dynamite.
I've been wanting to watch this one, but I've been hearing some problems with it.
Do not watch this movie. It is awful. It pissed me off. It's the... I came up with... It's the Prometheus of nuclear war movies. Because... Everybody makes stupid decisions in this film for no explicable reason, and they're all supposed to be professionals, they're all supposed to be experts in their field, and they're all idiots, and it just pissed me off. It's also boring. They try to create a lot of tension, and it just doesn't work, and you don't really care, so it is on my should-miss list of the year. A House of Dynamite is terrible. I'm not even going to tell you what streaming service it's on.
I know what streaming service it's on, and the heartbreak of that beyond Rebecca Ferguson and Idris Elba is who directed it.
Yes, that is the other heartbreaking fact. Catherine Bigelow directed this, and she's usually really good, especially political thrillers. And, this is not a good movie.
Damn. Well, I guess I'll steer clear of that one. I guess I'll dodge that nuclear bomb.
Yeah, please do.
All right.
So those are the new movies we've seen in theaters or on streaming this week.
Sweet.
We're getting closer and closer to wrapping up 2025 and getting ready for our recap episode, which is always so much fun. We hope you guys tune into that in January. But this week, as I said, we picked 80s comedies. I love these two films so much. I think they pair really well together, and I hope you had as much fun with them as I did. I'd seen both of them before, and so I was really looking forward to talking about them, and I believe, John, you go first this week.
I believe you're right.
All right, go ahead and kick us off.
All right, let's do it. Let's go back to the year 1988. We've done that year before, and we'll get into that when we discuss the highest-grossing films of 1988. This film is written by George Gallo. If you don't know him by name, he wrote Bad Boys, the original. He still gets credit for characters up until at least the fourth Bad Boys movie. Even if there's going to be a fifth, he will as well. He also wrote and directed a movie called Double Take with Orlando Jones and Eddie Griffin, which I'm a fan of, but I also have not seen it in many years, so I wonder if it even holds up. And beyond Bad Boys and Double Take, he also wrote C-Spot Run, which is a terrible movie, The Whole 10 Yards, which is also a terrible movie, and a handful of other movies over the last several years, and he's got a whole bunch in development. This film was directed by Martin Brest. Martin Brest had his hand in a lot of films. Scent of a Woman, this film, Beverly Hills Cop, Meet Joe Black, and a bunch of other ones from the 90s. This film is titled Midnight Run.
A movie my parents love.
My parents as well. I think my father actually introduced me to this movie when I was 13. I can't remember exactly. I think it was on TNT. So he was like, oh yeah, let's watch this movie. It'll be edited. And sure enough, it was edited. Not that it really needed to be edited. There's a couple fucks here and there, but it's not like some gruesome, bloody, violent movie.
No, but it certainly is angry.
Yes, it is a bit angry. It's got a lot of good action and a lot of great comedy. This film stars Robert De Niro, Charles Grodin, Yaphet Kotto, John Astin, Dennis Farina, and an actor that we discussed in my episode of Memento several months ago, Joe Pantoliano, Cypher from The Matrix.
And Tommy Lee Jones, friend and colleague in The Fugitive.
Oh, yes, that's right, yeah. Pantoliano, such a good actor. Everybody in this movie, actually, fantastic actors, and they really do bring the comedy, especially John Astin and Robert De Niro, and Charles Grodin. I love Robert De Niro in comedies. I think this might have been the first time I saw him in a comedy. As I had just recently seen Goodfellas, and then my dad showed me this movie, and I was like, oh, it's really funny. I think you really like it. And like, Robert De Niro in a comedy, very strange. Now, for those of you that have never seen Midnight Run, this is a lot of fun, this flick. I hadn't watched this movie in maybe 10 years. It's been a while. I have a DVD copy of it, which has a really awesome 10-minute making-of documentary on the movie, so that was a lot of fun to watch. Because I had never watched the making of this movie before, so it was really cool seeing a lot of the behind-the-scenes on how they made this movie. And Vee, this is one of your favorite types of genres. It is a road trip movie.
Which is so random that we found out that I like road trip movies.
Yeah.
I wasn't even sure where you were going with that because I don't think of myself as a fan of road trip movies. As they're usually like predominantly guy movies. But yeah, we have learned I am a fan of them. And I also am a big fan of action comedies. It's my favorite genre. And these two movies certainly fit that bill too.
Absolutely. A lot of great action, a lot of great comedy in Midnight Run. But before we get into all the good comedy and all the funny moments in this movie, let's break this movie down for our audience that may not have seen it. I wonder if anybody has actually even really heard of it. I have talked to a couple people over the last week about having watched this movie, and to my surprise, a lot of people have seen this movie. So depending on what our audience feels or thinks about this, I'm curious how many people have actually seen it before.
I think some of our older listeners certainly have, or at least heard of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a staple of late 80s, and it completely has that late 80s feel. I will say the one thing I really liked about the movie is it didn't have a super synthy soundtrack similar to a movie that we're about to talk about after I get done with mine. But that's neither here nor there.
I hope that's not foreshadowing. Oh, no.
Oh, well, we'll have to wait and just find out, won't we? Now, this movie centers on Jack Walsh, played by Robert De Niro. He is a bounty hunter, and just like any bounty hunter, he's trying to get the next big score. And he gets a phone call from Joe Pantoliano. He plays a character named Eddie. He is a bail bondsman, and he wants Jack to go and find the Duke. And we find out that the Duke is Jonathan Mardukas. He is an ex-mafia accountant, and he has skipped bail and stolen $15 million from his old mafia boss, Jimmy Serrano, played by Dennis Farina.
Love him so much in this movie. I love Dennis Farina in general. He's so great. He was amazing and Out of Sight. I love him as a mobster in Get Shorty.
That's right. You mentioned he was in that.
Always so good at playing a mobster in any movie he's in.
Yes. He was also just in one of your current picks of Snatch as well.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald fuck. Oh my
he had
God.
such a cool fucking voice, too. Like, that voice is so distinguishable. He's also in a really terrible comedy with Tom Green and Jason Lee and Leslie Mann called Stealing Harvard. And I know I mentioned that movie just a few episodes ago, and you were telling me how much you hated Tom Green. So maybe it'll go on a Movies We Hate episode, even though you've never seen it.
I'm sure I hate it, though.
Yeah, no. I'm going to tell you right now, nobody likes Stealing Harvard but me and like 3 other people. I wonder if Nick at Bad Movies We Love has seen Stealing Harvard. Maybe he'll have me on as a guest to discuss that movie in the future.
There you go.
So anyway, we find out all this information about Jonathan Mardukas, and Eddie's telling Jack that he's going to drop him $100,000 to go get him. It's a midnight run. It's really just a done deal. Go pick him up, bring him back here. Everything will be taken care of. You get your money, and you can go on your way. And Jack is like, shit, $100,000? I could take that $100,000 and open up myself a nice little cafe and start settling down. So Jack takes the bounty and heads out to New York to retrieve Jonathan Mardukas. And he very successfully does, although it's a pretty hilarious way that he does end up apprehending him.
Mm-hmm.
I love that he's in the shower and he's like, don't you move, I'll shoot you through the glass, don't you move, trying to get the dog out of the way and everything. It's a very entertaining sequence. So after Jack has apprehended the Duke, they set out on this road trip to get from New York to Los Angeles, where Eddie has this $100,000 for Jack. Throughout this process, we're finding out more information about Jonathan Mardukas. We find out that he actually had no idea that he was an accountant for a mafioso boss. He thought that he was in a legitimate business and decided to take this $15 million from Jimmy Serrano and give it to charity. And he also skipped bail, so now not only is Jimmy after him, and Jack, who has now apprehended him, but John Ashton, who plays Marvin, who's another bounty hunter, has also been put on the tail of Jack because Eddie starts to think that Jack is not going to be able to deliver the Duke to Los Angeles. In the midst of all of this, Eddie's phone has been tapped, and we all know how that goes in movies. Not only are the FBI listening and the local police, but information is also getting fed to Jimmy Serrano. And Jimmy Serrano gets word that the Duke has now been apprehended, and what does Jimmy Serrano do? He sets out 2 of his henchmen out on Jack and the Duke to try and kill the Duke before he can get to L.A. to testify. So we have this whole big cat and mouse game. On top of these mobsters, Marvin, we also have Yaphet Kotto, who is an FBI agent playing Alonzo Mosley. There's a very brief encounter with Jack and Alonzo early on in the movie that's very entertaining. It's all, the whole thing about sunglasses, I love that whole scene. The FBI is now after Jack and the Duke, and in the midst of all of this, Jack is trying to find the easiest mode of transportation to get the Duke back to LA from New York. Tries to get him on a first-class flight, and the Duke is telling him that he's got a phobia of flying. One thing leads to another, and they end up getting off the plane. Then, Jack's like, well, let's just take a train then. So as they get on a train, things start to go south because Marvin also ends up being on that train after a certain stop. And then it just kind of becomes a planes, trains, and automobiles sort of situation in this movie where Jack is trying to not only evade Marvin, the FBI, and now these mobster henchmen. He's just trying to get the Duke back to Los Angeles to collect his $100,000, and he can just wipe his hands clean of this whole thing and move on with his life. And so for the rest of the movie, we are going back and forth from LA to New York to Arizona to Chicago to cities all over the U.S., and of course, Jack does finally catch wind that the FBI has Eddie's phones tapped, so he's trying to fuck with the FBI and the local police, and everybody just starts to try and come down on these guys to apprehend Jonathan Mardukas. And it just becomes a completely hilarious, action-packed cat-and-mouse game of who is going to outsmart who next. And like I said, I have not watched this movie in about 12 years, so it's been a minute. I was in my late 20s when I last watched it, and I really enjoyed it then, but I gotta say, I enjoyed it so much more this time. I think because I paid more attention to the dialogue, and just the way the movie was made is so fascinating, and we'll get into a little bit of the behind-the-scenes shortly. But I'm a big fan of this movie. Like I said, my parents are as well. If you haven't seen this movie, I really don't know how you can't be a fan of this movie because of everything that goes down. The action is great, and Martin Brest does a great job bringing these characters to life. George Gallo's script is so sharp and so hilarious, and the cast really just brings it on all fronts. And I'm glad to bring it to the podcast. And V, I don't know when you last watched it, but I'm curious how your rewatch this time around was.
I actually watched this movie just in the last couple years. Before that, I hadn't seen it since my 20s. I'd only seen it once before. And so it was nice to revisit it again so recently. And I had such a good time. This movie's really funny. Those two play off each other really well.
Oh, yeah.
But I think just as important as that is the supporting cast, because every single one of these men, because this movie is all men except for one person, actually, now that I think about it.
That's right, yeah. It's a very, heavily male cast.
Anyway, besides that, this whole entire cast you will recognize as character actors, as being in movies from the 90s that you recognize, and they're all so good and so fun, and every single one of them has their own little motive that you totally understand and
oh yeah,
can get behind, and it's just one thing after another for these guys, and it's hilarious. I love the scene under the overpass by the river. I think that is a wonderful scene.
Yeah.
Every
So
time Marvin catches up to them is hilarious too, because
yeah,
he just thinks he's so smart. And
yeah.
he just gets bested by Robert De Niro every single time. And
I love all of that. Marvin, look! The whole crying wolf thing always works so well in that movie.
Oh, and how he makes fun of the FBI is great. That's always been really fun too. I really enjoyed that. And and the Duke being a little bit of a hypochondriac and really concerned about health, while Robert De Niro's just chain smoking cigarettes and ordering fried food and stuff. They're such a great pairing for the two of them. And it's so funny how he's just so determined to open up his little coffee shop and get out of the business, and he can do it for $100,000. And I'm just thinking right now, it's like back in the 80s, you could buy a house for less than $100,000, right? And now it's like not going to get you even a year and a half in most places, let alone to set up a new shop or a place to retire. So that was pretty funny that there's a little bit of being dated with how much money he wants. And I just love the backstory and how we learn more and more about these characters throughout the movie, which adds to it as well, which is nice.
Oh, yeah.
And every single roadblock, pun intended, that they run into is fresh and different. It's not the same joke over and over in this movie, which it could have been, because you can think about it and how many times can they get stopped and how many times can they not get to LA? It's America. There's lots of modes of transportation. And you'd think, how many obstacles could you really think of? And it turns out a whole lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love the other scene with the airplane. I always think that's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. That is so damn funny.
And when they're handcuffed together at one point, which is great.
Yeah. That was really good.
There's a scene where there are several scenes actually where they're really desperate for money, and both of them are playing off each other on who can get money easiest and get them out of a jam easiest. And at one point, Charles Grodin takes care of it, and it's so awesome. And I was like, yeah, he's way smarter than you are.
Yeah.
So I had a great time revisiting this movie. I think this was a perfect pairing for our films this week. I'm really excited to get into mine too. But for yours, I'm so glad you picked it. I'm glad you're a fan of it as much as your parents. I think it's one of those movies that people will say, oh yeah, when somebody mentions it, but they haven't seen it in 20 plus years, if at all, right? They've just heard of it in passing. And so I think it's a great opportunity for our audience to really be introduced to it and hopefully be excited to watch it.
I completely agree, and I'm glad that you had a good time rewatching it. I do want to talk about Charles Grodin just a little bit. I don't normally go into a lot of credits of actors because I have a lot of BTS usually. I have a good amount of BTS, but not a chunky bit like I thought I would have. But that's okay. It's from 1988, and it's a live-action movie. It wasn't like there was a whole lot of special effects in this movie, which is very obvious. A lot of this was done practically.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the practical effects, especially the helicopter sequence, is fantastic.
A lot of crash cars in this movie, too.
Hell yeah. Charles Grodin had quite the career. I first saw him in the very first Beethoven movie with Bonnie Hunt. He was the father.
My parents were never fans of that film, so they never brought it home for us to watch.
Wow.
I think I saw one of the Beethovens once when I was like 19, and that's it.
Oh, wow, yeah. I think they did 4 or 5. I know they did a lot.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, of course, the dog movies. But I remember liking the first one and the second one. Now, granted, I haven't seen them in a very long time. They still hold special places in my heart because I was very young when I first saw them, and I always wanted a St. Bernard. But, of course, my parents were like, those dogs are huge. We're not getting one of those.
They drool so much.
Yeah, they do, and they're very large. But Charles Grodin was in Heaven Can Wait with Warren Beatty, which we discussed Warren Beatty with Dick Tracy not too long ago.
Yeah.
He was also in several other movies. He was in So I Married an Axe Murderer, which is a great flick with Mike Myers.
Yes.
If you've never seen that one.
Yes.
And Charles Grodin was actually in one of your previous picks of Dave as well.
From episode 7, I believe.
Wow, was it that long ago? So 180 episodes ago?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yes, he plays Kevin Kline's best friend who helps him with the budget.
Right. Yes. Robert De Niro, enough said.
Yes.
We all know his career.
Stardust, Captain Shakespeare. I will always talk about that credit.
Yeah, of course.
My previous pick.
Jimmy and Goodfellas and Casino. Yes, Stardust. That was an early pick of yours as well. What, episode 3 or 4, I think?
Yes, when you picked Romeo and Juliet. So 4.
That's right. Yeah. A long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yaphet Kotto, who we discussed in your very first Halloween episode of Alien.
Yes, he's the big guy in Alien who is a really cool part of the crew. And unfortunately, well, watch Alien.
No spoilers here, everybody. No spoilers here.
No.
Yaphet Kotto had quite the career as well. A handful of movies. Very good actor. I loved him in this movie. John Ashton, we've talked about. I don't think, actually, maybe we have or haven't. He was in Beverly Hills Cop. He was in Gone Baby Gone. He was in a weird, really terrible movie with Paul Walker from Disney called Meet the Deedles from like 1997 or something like that. Yeah, really, really terrible, but somewhat entertaining movie. So that's most of the cast. Joe Pantoliano, discussed him in Memento, and he's in The Matrix, and he's in a future pick of mine of Ready to Rumble. Joe Pantoliano's had quite the badass career as well, and on top of The Fugitive, so many other great movies and roles for him. And, of course, he is the captain in all the Bad Boys movies.
Woosah! Captain, remember your pressure
points. Captain, your pressure points. How do you sink a boat? That's one of my favorite lines in Bad Boys 2.
Oh, I love Bad Boys 2 so much.
Oh, I don't know how you can't. Bad Boys 2 is so badass. It's still so badass.
That freeway car chase scene is one of my all-time favorite car chases in a movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. So badass and practically done. Now let's get into a little bit of the BTS of Midnight Run. Why not? Yaphet Kotto was very confused about the tone of this movie. In an interview in 2015, he was saying that while making this movie, Martin Brest did so many different takes and shot so much footage every day that he was on set, including throughout the entire production of the movie, that he wasn't sure if they were making a comedy or a drama because of how Martin Brest was directing the movie. He wanted them to do comedic scenes. He wanted them to do more on the dramatic style of scenes. So when Yaphet Kotto saw the movie, he was very pleasantly surprised to find out that it was actually a very funny movie.
That's wild. I want to see both versions of that film.
I would love to see a Martin Brest really heavy, dramatic version of this movie. I think that would be really, really cool.
Well, especially because with Robert De Niro's character, he could have gone either way. I mean, this absolutely could have been a very intense film. It was on the dramatic side. That's such a good point. That would have been really cool.
I completely agree, and I do love that Robert De Niro just seems like a ticking time bomb in the whole movie. Because, of course, Mardukas is egging him on about not only the smoking and the eating of the food, but we find out later that De Niro's character Jack used to be married and has a daughter and hasn't seen his ex-wife or daughter in about 8 years. And the Duke is just like, how come you haven't seen him? Come on, what's the problem? Fill me in. Come on, tell me about your life.
Robert De Niro's life sucks in this film.
Oh, yeah, big time. Which is why he is now a bounty hunter. We find out, well, I don't want to get too much into his backstory, especially for those that haven't seen the movie.
Good call.
But either way, yeah, De Niro being a ticking time bomb with Charles Grodin, who is almost a therapist in this movie to Jack, because he's just so calm and collected throughout the whole thing, except for when he's on the first plane, when he tries to get taken off the plane.
Well, and he reminds me of, and is the inspiration for, clearly, for a lot of these comedic actors in these road trip movies. I'm thinking Zach Galifianakis in Due Date. I'm thinking of, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, of course, is the classic. Bill Murray and What About Bob? These people who are characters that just drive the straight man crazy, right?
Yes, yeah.
It's such a good job.
What About Bob is, maybe I should add, one of us should add that to the list.
Totally
that is
add it to the list.
Oh my God. Dreyfuss in that movie is unbelievable. I'll never forget the first time I saw What About Bob. I loved it so much, and I still do. It's a great movie. And that kid's in it. The one from Hook, and the son from Hook.
Oh.
The kid. That guy. Jack Portnoy.
Yes. Joe Pantoliano.
No, Jack Portnoy is somebody else from another movie that we've done here, from Tropic Thunder.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Charlie Korsmo. Samsonite. I was way off.
It's the same thing. Jack Portnoy, I don't even. Whatever.
Thank God I picked Hook.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Robert De Niro, originally when this movie was in pre-production, the studio wanted to get a really big name to be opposite Robert De Niro. And the studio was thinking that a recent Oscar winner would be great for this movie. She was in The Witches of Eastwick, and she was in Moonstruck.
Cher.
And they were hoping to get Cher. Martin Brest rejected the idea of doing a gender swap because he was afraid that there would be too many sexual overtones between each character. And I completely buy into that. I completely understand, because you think about a movie like this, if it's a woman that's being apprehended, of course maybe not of course, I don't want to assume anything. However, in a movie in the 80s, I imagine they would have totally gone the route of her trying to seduce him and make him fall in love with her.
It would have been cheapened.
It just would have gone a completely different direction. Ultimately, they cast Charles Grodin, and everybody just had a great time working with Charles Grodin. I don't know how you can. He just seemed like such an awesome guy.
Well, and being that it was made in the 80s, I'm sure it would have aged very poorly, and there would have been a lot of sexual harassment jokes about it, and all the guys egging on Robert De Niro whenever they ran into him and all that BS. So I think it would have been awesome if if they picked Joe Pesci. That would have been such a hilarious pairing.
That would have been pretty wild if it were Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro, because 2 years after this, they were in Goodfellas together. And then a few years after that, they were in Casino. So there would have been something else to see both of these two in a comedy role. That would have been wild.
Well, and we know that Joe Pesci is amazing in comedies, highly talented, and he should have been in more of them. And not just Home Alone, but also My Cousin Vinny, which I cannot wait to introduce you to at some point. It's such an incredible film.
Still never seen it. Yeah.
Oh, so good. And I think also, it's so funny because in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, he was the serious man, but Steve Martin as the funny one in Midnight Run would have also been hilarious.
That would have been a really cool casting also. And I could alternate universe that one.
He would have driven Robert De Niro crazy.
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it would have been kind of like a Dirty Rotten Scoundrels scenario where like Michael Caine is like the straight guy and Steve Martin, of course, was the comedic relief.
Oh, and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels came out in like 88, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 88 or 87. I can't
Yeah.
remember. I know I did it several months ago. I just can't remember the year. But either way, now Robert De Niro did prep for this role. He ended up hanging out with several bounty hunters, going out on bounties with them, and also drove around with a lot of LAPD officers and detectives going on real drug busts with these people.
And this is after Raging Bull, The Godfather Part 2. I mean, he is a huge actor at this point. Can you imagine your house with a bunch of weed in it's getting busted and you're like, wait, is that Robert De Niro?
De Niro walking in. Like,
what the hell?
Hey, all right. That would have been so nuts. I would have lost my shit.
Yeah.
I mentioned John Ashton being in Gone Baby Gone. Apparently, Ben Affleck cast him in that movie because he loved his performance so much in this movie.
Oh, he was Ed Harris's partner. That's right. He was old. He was so much older in Gone Baby Gone. I mean, it was like 25 years later that Gone Baby Gone was made.
Right.
So I didn't even recognize him. I always think of him as an LAPD detective in Beverly Hills Cop. Oh my God.
Right? Oh, I love him in Beverly Hills Cop.
I love that movie so much.
And he's great in this movie. And apparently the scene on the train where De Niro ends up pistol whipping him, De Niro was apparently really into doing that scene and actually pistol whipped John Ashton.
I can't imagine getting hit with a piece of metal like that. That would suck so much.
No, I don't think he actually got knocked out, but either way, that I can imagine that hurt like a son of a bitch.
Oh, God, that's gotta hurt so bad.
I actually wanted to take a tally of how many times son of a bitch was said in this movie, but I think I lost count after like 37.
You need one of those clickers. Like
I totally do. I absolutely need one of those.
Yeah.
And V, I'm curious if you picked up on how much a cup of coffee in 1988 cost.
53 cents.
How about a cup of tea?
53 cents.
I'll take the tea. You get your food. I love it. He's like, chorizo and eggs. He goes, I'll get you whatever you want. I just want to get that wired money, and then I'll get you whatever you want. The Duke's like, chorizo and eggs. I just want chorizo and eggs. Charles Grodin was such a calm presence, like not just in this movie, but like so many roles of his. Like you could just tell, like he loved what he did. Like it was. He recently died actually back in 2021. And when he did pass away, so many people, similar to John Candy and so many other actors out there, nobody had anything bad to say about the guy.
I don't know why, but I always got the impression he was Canadian. He had that sweet vibe to him.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Steve Martin, he was in consideration to play the Duke at one point.
Oh, well, there you go.
As was Bill Murray, Albert Brooks, Bruce Willis, and an actor that we will be discussing in your pick this week.
Oh, I could see that. I think...
That would have been a wild pairing. Chase and De Niro?
Albert Brooks would have been amazing.
Albert Brooks would have been so badass. Absolutely. I would have hands down been down for that.
Because he seems like he could be an accountant. He's got that kind of nerdy
absolutely.
vibe.
Oh, yeah.
He could definitely annoy Robert De Niro.
Oh, 1,000%. And speaking of Chevy Chase, he was actually in line to play Jonathan Mardukas when Harrison Ford was attached to play Jack Walsh.
Whoa!
Yeah, that would have been a different movie.
Oh, could Harrison Ford act that angry for 2 full hours?
Absolutely. Are you kidding? I think he could.
Yeah, he's got that gruffness as he's gotten older, but there's always that element of heart underneath his performance.
Sure.
Think Indiana Jones on those scenes that he's really angry. He's still got that good guy mentality where there's an edge to Robert De Niro's character in this film.
Yeah.
I think that kind of mob. He always seems mobbed up, right? And he's always got that edge of, is he on the right side of the law? And so some actor like that, I think, was best for that role.
Yeah, I agree. I'm fully on board with all that, too. Several other actors were in consideration to play Jimmy Serrano, who ultimately went to Dennis Farina, who we are big fans of, but I can tell you right now, I could see just about every one of these being Jimmy Serrano. Ron Perlman.
Back when he was young.
Yeah, or young Ron Perlman. Dennis Hopper.
Definitely.
Harvey Keitel.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Alec Baldwin.
Harvey Keitel could have played the Jack Walsh character, the bounty hunter.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah,
especially with his character in Pulp Fiction. I could totally see him being Jack Walsh.
He actually was... Oh, you'll love his character in Point of No Return as well.
Oh, sweet. Is that the Bridget Fonda movie?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Alec Baldwin was another one in consideration for Jimmy Serrano. I could see it, but I think the other ones are working. And this last one, absolutely 1000% could see. He's our good friend. He very recently passed away. Ray Liotta.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Ray Liotta would have been great as Jimmy Serrano.
Again, or Joe Pesci.
Or Joe Pesci. Oh, that would have been cool. Yeah, that would have been cool. There's another actor in this movie, very shortly lived. Not that his character dies or anything, but he plays another one of Jimmy Serrano's right-hand man. Philip Baker Hall shows up in this movie.
Yeah, he does. I love that he randomly shows up in like 200 films.
Yeah, I know. Several other actors. I should have mentioned them just a few minutes ago, but just a couple more I wanted to list. Gene Hackman, Mel Gibson, Kurt Russell, Burt Reynolds, Clint Eastwood, and Dustin Hoffman were also in consideration to play Jack Walsh. Dustin Hoffman, I don't think so.
No, Dustin Hoffman could have been the accountant. He should have been the dude.
Yeah, totally.
He would have been annoying as shit. It would have been great. Basically a who's who of actors in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody was up for grabs and hopefully trying to get the next big movie. And I'm just glad that everybody that's involved in this movie were the ones that were cast, because they all just delivered great performances.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier we talked about the $100,000 that Jack is supposed to be paid out. And in 2024, so just less than a year ago, that would equate to $262,250. So still could not buy a house with it in today's market.
I mean, not anywhere where we live.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Jesus Christ. Again, I just be like, you know what? This is too much of a pain in the ass. Go ahead. You can get out of here.
Get out of here.
And uncuff you. Live your life. Whatever. I'm going to lose this bounty. So, yeah.
Two other actors were in consideration to play Marvin, who ultimately went to John Ashton. John Goodman and John Candy were considered for the role.
Candy would have been
John
too
Goodman,
silly.
I think John Goodman would have been pretty badass, though.
Yeah, could he play kind of a doofus, though?
Yeah, he absolutely can.
Oh, okay.
It's John Goodman. He played Fred Flintstone. He can totally play a doofus.
All right, so the real question is, if this movie was going to be made in 2025, who would take the two main roles?
Oh, let's see here. Jack Walsh, 2025. I'm going to go with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay.
I'm going off the top of my head. I could see DiCaprio being Jack Walsh. I could actually see Robert Pattinson being Jack Walsh. That would be pretty cool.
Oh, interesting. Okay, going a little darker.
Yeah. And so I'll go with those two, Robert Pattinson and Leonardo DiCaprio. And actually, maybe John David Washington could be a good Jack Walsh.
Yeah, I could see that.
John David Washington would be good. And for the Duke comedy, honestly, I know it would very likely be typecast in a way, but I think Ryan Reynolds would be a good Mardukas.
He would do a really good job being the annoying one. He does that in lots of movies.
Exactly. And, I think it would be kind of fun to see Will Arnett, too.
Yeah, Will Arnett would be a good pick. Nice. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And there's one. Let's do one more, because I did 3 for the first one. I think Bill Burr would be pretty good as the Duke. Yeah, so those are my 6, just off the top of my head, off the cuff.
I think those
are
great.
What about you?
Okay, for the bounty hunter, I would say John Leguizamo would be good.
Oh, hell yeah.
Somebody who plays angry really well, right?
Yes.
And for the accountant, someone nerdy like Justin Long.
Yeah.
Or Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
No, he's just
I think
annoying.
I'd get too annoyed with Jesse Eisenberg,
he's just
honestly.
Annoying.
Yeah. What about Woody Harrelson as Jack and Jesse Eisenberg as the Duke? Bring them both back from Zombieland together.
What about Woody Harrelson as Jack and Alan Tudyk as the Duke?
Oh, that would be kick-ass. Or you switch things and you put Matthew McConaughey as Jack and Woody Harrelson as the Duke. That would be killer.
I know, as soon as you said Woody Harrelson, I thought of that pairing him up with Matthew McConaughey again. That'd be amazing.
You can't not do a McConaughey pairing with Woody Harrelson. Yeah, look at all these alternate universe castings we're doing for Midnight Run. They would all be great.
I'm liking the current castings for older movies, though. That was very fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm down with that big time. Midnight Run came out July 20th of 1980. It had a $35 million budget.
At first I was shocked, but they shot all over and crashed a lot of vehicles, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. And they used a lot of cameras. They actually used 3 cameras for a lot of the windshield shots, which is pretty sweet. So they had two close-ups and 1 wide, which is so brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Domestically, it made $38.4 million.
Aww. No.
And worldwide gross was $81.6 million.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, so it did pretty well worldwide. I think it did far better in rentals and like VHS sales as the years went on. But also, 1988 was a pretty big year. And I imagine, V, you could tell me what the highest grossing film of 1988 was. It is a pass pick of yours.
It is, and it's only because I've gotten it wrong several times. It's finally burned into my brain that it's Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes, it is. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was the highest grossing film of 1988. Second highest, Coming to America. The third highest grossing film, Good Morning Vietnam. Number 4 was Big. Number 7, a past pick of yours for one of our Christmas episodes, Die Hard.
Yes.
The 10th highest grossing film in 1988 was Beetlejuice. The 12th highest grossing film, a previous pick of yours, I believe from year 1, was Willow.
Oh, a movie you didn't really enjoy, which is so sad.
I didn't really enjoy. 14th highest grossing film, Bill Murray as an Ebenezer Scrooge type character in Scrooged.
Past pick of yours.
The 29th highest grossing film, a fantastic film that started a lot of childhood trauma for our generation, The Land Before Time.
A movie that will be on this show in the future, paired with All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Because
Can't wait for that sob story.
We're going to be covering millennial childhood trauma in the future.
Yes, we are. And here's another one that actually caused a little bit of trauma for a lot of children, and maybe some adults too, especially if you're a cat lover. 30th highest grossing film of 1988 was Disney's Oliver and Company.
Never saw it.
Oh, my goodness. It's great. It's a completely underrated Disney animated film. Billy Joel does the soundtrack.
Oh, wow.
And he's the voice of Rocket. Yeah, it's a really, really good movie. The 36th highest grossing film, of which I am literally going to add to my Christmas list for this year. It's one of my most favorite Christmas movies, Ernest Saves Christmas.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Get ready.
Every opinion is valid, I guess.
65th highest grossing film, another past pick of yours, starring Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, Overboard.
Yes, God, I love that movie so much.
Very good movie. And the 26th highest grossing film of 1988, my pick for this week of Midnight Run. That is Midnight Run. Everybody, if you have not seen it, currently streaming on Netflix now. It is worth every minute of your 2 hours and 6 minutes of your life. Give it a shot. It's a blast. We love it. And I can't wait to watch it again.
Such a good film.
Yeah.
Thanks for picking it.
It is. Yeah, of course. Now, V, I think we should rewind just a few years and start discussing your pick for this week.
Sounds good.
All right. Take it away.
And we are only rewinding a few years. 3, in fact, to 1985. Pretty good year.
Yeah.
Although I do think 1984 is a better year for movies. But this movie was certainly one of the best ones to come out of 1985 because I'm talking about the film starring Chevy Chase titled Fletch. A movie that John had never seen before. I've been watching for about 15 years now. I wasn't ever introduced to it as a kid or growing up. It was actually through my ex that I was introduced to this film.
Oh, all right.
And I've loved it ever since the first time I saw it. I think it's hilarious. It has very sharp, witty dialogue, very fast-paced, similar to His Girl Friday, where you need to watch it a couple times in order to catch all the jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have a lot of fun with this film every single time I watch it, and I would say I watch it every couple of years. I don't watch it every year just because it's comedy. I rarely do that with comedies just so they stay fresh in my mind.
Right.
And so let's go ahead and dive into Fletch starring Chevy Chase. He plays the character of Erwin Fletcher. His nickname is Fletch, and he's an investigative reporter, and I'm going to let him kind of set the scene for you.
My name is Erwin Fletcher. I'm an investigative reporter for a Los Angeles paper. You probably read my stuff under the byline of Jane Doe. What the hey, it's better than Erwin. The last 3 weeks, I've been loitering around the beach, trying to pass for an amiable minor league junkie. I don't nod out or drool, it's too obvious. Act like you don't give a crap and you fit right in. In case you haven't guessed yet, there's been a lot of drug traffic on the beach. And I'm not talking about Robitussin and NoDos. I'm talking about the hard stuff. And a lot of it. I've been trying to find out who's behind it.
So he's investigating some drug dealing on the beach, and John and I talked about this a little bit before we started recording. We were trying to identify exactly what beach it was, especially back in 1985, because those beaches certainly look different than they did when you and I both lived in Los Angeles. And I lived down in Manhattan Beach for several years as well, so I was very familiar with those beaches, and it actually turns out it's Santa Monica and underneath Santa Monica Pier, which is pretty cool.
Ah, yeah.
So while Fletch is undercover trying to find out exactly where all of these drugs are coming from, there's a man in a suit suit who is watching him, first with binoculars, and then he starts to follow him and stops Fletch and says, "Hello, I will give you $1,000 if you come to my house." And Fletch is like, "I'm sorry, I'm really not into that." And he says, "Nothing funny, just come to my house and hear a proposition." Fletch says yes, because he's acting like a vagrant. He's acting like someone who's homeless, who is actually a drug addict who would need the $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And so it turns out that this man is Alan Stanwyck, and he tells Fletch that he is a very powerful executive, but he's been recently diagnosed with bone cancer last month, and it is a very aggressive, unfortunately terminal diagnosis, and he only has a couple months to live. And it's going to be a very painful, very sad way to go, and instead he wants to hire Fletch to kill him. Fletch initially says, "Well, why don't you just think of suicide?" And Alan Stanwyck says, no, there's a clause in my life insurance policy. My wife wouldn't get a dime if I just off myself. I need someone to actually kill me. Let's stage a robbery in my home office, which is where they are at the time. And I've got everything figured out. Safe will be open. There will be $50,000 in it. There will be a ticket waiting for you at LAX for you to go down to Rio de Janeiro. I've got it all worked out. Just go ahead and kill me. You'd be doing me a great favor. And Fletch says yes, under the guise that he is the character that he's playing, and leaves. And as an investigative reporter, this has certainly piqued his interest. He really wants to get to the bottom of exactly what's going on, so Fletch decides to, first and foremost, dive into exactly who Alan Stanwyck is, and it turns out he's a VP at a very successful aviation company. He married into it. His wife is the daughter of the CEO, so he was given a cushy VP job, and now he's got tons and tons of money. And there were no red flags that popped up, so next, Fletch is going to pretend to be a patient of Alan Stanwyck's doctor and maybe try to get a little bit of information from his doctor, played by M. Emmett Walsh.
Yes.
M. Emmett Walsh, he was the captain in Blade Runner. He was Harrison Ford's boss in Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
He also was the voice of Earl in The Iron Giant.
Oh, wow.
But most of our generation would recognize him as the apothecary in Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, absolutely.
And right from the beginning, I mean, even back at the beach, there is this really fast-paced dialogue coming from Chevy Chase. This is absolutely his film. He's also narrating it, which is a lot of fun. But man, he is like Ryan Reynolds fast in terms of joking, being self-deprecating, and that's true in this doctor's office as well. And he's trying to get some more information while the doctor's doing a full old-school physical on him, and including telling him to bend over. Using the whole fist there, Doc? Spend any time in prison? So yes, unfortunately he doesn't get any information from this doctor and subjects himself to some physical torture for no reason whatsoever. So what's he going to do next? Well, he's going to dress up as a doctor in scrubs and go down to the records room at the hospital and steal some of Alan Stanwyck's records.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, while he's trying to do that, one of the MEs in the autopsy bay goes and asks him for some help. And so now Fletch, as an investigative reporter, is now in the middle of an autopsy.
Ugh.
But he finally gets the records, and it turns out Alan Stanwyck has a clean bill of health. So what the hell is going on? And that's when he starts to dive in a little bit deeper. Not only is he continuing to investigate this drug dealing on the beach, but at the same time, he's now on the tail of Alan Stanwyck. Well, the next thing he's going to do is go and meet the man's wife. Her name is Gail. She's played by Dana Wheeler-Nicholson. She was Maddie Earp in Tombstone. She was Wyatt Earp's wife who had the drug problem.
Oh, all right. Cool.
Yeah. And she's beautiful in this film and very adorable. And he pretends to know her. He always pretends to know the person that he's meeting, first and foremost.
Yeah, I love that.
And he's flirting with her at a country club. And there's this great line that I love of hers that she says,
I'm very flattered, but I'm also very married. You are trying to hit on me, aren't you?
How did you guess? I'm such a heel, I don't know what came over me.
If I had a nickel for every one of Alan's flyboy buddies who tried to pick me up, I'd be a rich woman.
You are a rich woman.
See what I mean?
At this country club is also where we meet a couple called the Underhills. They are the quintessential entitled rich assholes. And they treat the waitstaff horribly, and Fletch actually overhears all that. So the entire time that he's at this country club, including repeat visits, he puts all of his orders on the Underhills tab.
Love it.
I was in Hawaii a few years ago, and my friends and I were trying to get to this beach, and unfortunately it was private. The hotel, this really nice hotel, owned it. And so you had to be a guest at the hotel in order to get in there. And so my girlfriends and I were pulled up to the gate, and I leaned over, I said, "Oh, we're guests of the Underhills." And the guy smiled at me and let me in.
Nice. Fantastic.
Could cross that off my bucket list, and now I just have crashing a wedding on it. And so Fletch continues to investigate Alan Stanwyck and try to find out exactly what's really going on. There's ties to Utah, and then he goes to Utah a few times. And at one point, while he's still investigating the drug dealing on the beach, he gets tangled up with some police officers too. So he's having a very busy life. He's trying to juggle multiple things. He is also trying to meet a deadline while his boss is breathing down his throat. He has great assistance from a young Gina Davis.
Yeah.
She's adorable and a great little side character in this movie too. And so for the rest of the movie, Fletch is pursuing these two totally different stories while also being chased by several people, including cops, while also being hunted down by his ex-wife's lawyer for his alimony payment for the month. So this man is super busy trying to hide, trying to get some information from everyone. And the whole movie is this wonderful series of him dressing up, pretending to be other people. He uses amazing names throughout this whole movie too. G. Gordon Liddy, at one point he says his name's Don Corleone. Like, it's so awesome. And there are also great makeup and costume changes throughout the film too. It's such a fun ride, and there's a really great story beneath it as well, on top of Chevy Chase's comedy gold in this film. I love it so much, and I know several people in my family who do too, and I was really excited to introduce John to it this week, so I really hope he had a good time with it.
It was my first time seeing this movie. I am a fan of Chevy Chase, a big Christmas Vacation fan, and I loved Community, and I love his very, very bit role in Hot Tub Time Machine and so many other movies that Chevy Chase has popped up in and out of. I really enjoyed the movie. It definitely made me laugh a lot. My parents have always told me to watch this movie for I don't know how many years now. So finally getting to see what they were talking about all these years was also a lot of fun. Like you mentioned, I love all the names he uses. I love the going in disguise. I really enjoy the way that he conducts his business with his newspaper editor. I had a really good time throughout the whole movie, and I definitely would watch it again. I think there is a sequel. Is there a sequel? Am I wrong? Or is there...
No, you're absolutely right. There is a sequel, especially because it was based on a book series by Gregory McDonald. But I've never seen the sequel. I've heard that it's terrible, so I never wanted to tarnish the original.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure.
Similar to last week's pick of 101 Dalmatians. I know there's a sequel. I just probably won't ever touch it.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. I get that. So maybe I won't ever see it either. You never know. I don't know if I would own Fletch in my collection of movies, but it's certainly a movie that I would never say no to if somebody wanted to watch it.
Great. I'm so glad. And I'm curious who your favorite character of his was.
Oh, gosh. I think the bald cap bearded fellow was definitely up there for me. I really enjoyed that one.
When he was wearing the robe and had the roller skates on the beach.
Yeah.
He looked like a street Jesus.
Yep, big time.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous, and I appreciate that you said it's got like a His Girl Friday feel to it, because it is fast moving, and Chevy Chase, like, it's crazy how he doesn't even blink, and he goes so fast, and I've never been a big Caddyshack fan, but I remember liking Chevy Chase the most in Caddyshack.
Yes.
Even Bill Murray actually kind of irritated me in that movie, but Fletch was great, definitely glad finally got to see it, and like I said, I'd certainly watch it again.
I'm so glad to hear that, and yeah, he just plays so many different characters in the movie that are so much fun. The guy from the FCC is hilarious, where he says he's had a bloody nose and he's all taped up, and then and then when he plays the mechanic at the airplane hangar and he's got the fake teeth. That
was awesome. Yeah.
Needs some 40-weight oil. It's all ball bearings now. I say that all the time when I'm working on a bike or a car. Oh man, I say that all the time still to this day. And yeah, there are just so many great quotes and great characters that he plays, and it keeps everything fresh that he's not just himself throughout the movie, but he's so many different things and pretending so he can get in. And it's just such wonderful confidence that he has. That dry humor is so perfect. And he uses that a lot in Caddyshack too, or Caddyshack as well. I know there is a sequel to Caddyshack. So.
Oh, that's right. There is a sequel to Caddyshack.
Yeah, but his dry humor in Caddyshack is hilarious as well. So I'm really, really glad to hear that you liked it. I would certainly watch it with you at some point over at your house. So I'm glad you're willing to watch it again. And there are tons of jokes that you pick up the second and third time, similar to like Deadpool and Wolverine or something really fast, or just any of the Deadpool movies actually, because he's so fast paced with the dialogue that you're going to miss stuff as you laugh, which is always a great problem to have.
Yeah, definitely.
And the supporting cast is wonderful too. Tim Matheson plays Alan Stanwyck, who he was in Animal House.
Yes, he was.
And he also plays the vice president in the West Wing series.
Oh, really? That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. The chief of police is played by Joe Don Baker, who I love him so much. In the Pierce Brosnan James Bond movies, he plays the CIA agent Jack Wade. He's got like the Hawaiian shirt on, and he's just such a character in those films and plays off of Pierce Brosnan really well. So I really liked him in that. He's also in Congo. He plays the dad.
Is he? Oh, wow.
He
I don't
sends him
remember
on that
in
mission. Yeah, he sucks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he's also in Cape Fear with Robert De Niro.
Nice.
And the guy on the beach, Fat Sam, who is one of the guys who's dealing drugs, he is Norm in Cheers.
Yes, indeed.
And
the most famous role.
It was his most famous role. He just passed away a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he is Jason Sudeikis' uncle.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating.
So some great character actors as well supporting Chevy Chase in this movie. And it was just so fun. And I like that even the writers have some great credits behind them to just show our audience that the dialogue is written really well. And so is this film.
Mm-hmm.
Phil Alden Robinson was one of the writers. He wrote Field of Dreams. Andrew Bergman was the main writer. He helped write Blazing Saddles, Soap Dish, and Striptease.
All right.
Yeah.
I think Dennis Farina's in Striptease.
Oh my God, that's right, he is.
Yeah. I've only seen Striptease one time, and it was for obvious reasons.
The How Did This Get Made episode about Striptease is great,
though.
though.
That is a great, great episode.
And like I said, this is based on a series of books written by a man named Gregory MacDonald. He actually had casting approval in the film.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, he rejected Mick Jagger, Burt Reynolds, and a few others.
Mick Jagger?
I know, right? That would have been horrible. I know.
Oh, wow.
Before he decided on Chevy Chase for the lead, which is great.
Nice.
And at one point, Fletch goes back to Alan Stanwyck's house, and he walks along the pool area. It is the same house that was used in The Godfather, a pick of mine from earlier this year.
Yes, I definitely recognize that.
It is the movie director's house, where they find the horse head in his bed.
Nice.
Yes.
Also hilariously referenced in You've Got Mail.
Yes. Oh, I love it. It was so funny because I watched You've Got Mail first before I ever watched The Godfather. And so it's one of those things that's come up a couple times in our show, like for Casablanca or Dr. Strangelove, right? Where all of these newer movies from the 80s and 90s reference these old classic films. We just know it's a pop culture for reference. And then once we actually watch those films, we're like, oh yeah, that makes so much more sense now.
Yep.
And yes,
I do like when that happens.
Tom Hanks's references of The Godfather are so great in You've Got Mail. It's the I Ching
You've Got Mail was
men.
98, I think.
Yeah.
So I was definitely too young, according to my father, to watch The Godfather at that age. So I just remember after seeing You've Got Mail in theaters with my parents, I was like, Dad, when can I watch The Godfather? He goes, when you're 21. I was like, oh, okay.
And then you watched it when you were 15.
Well, I might have been 16, but he showed me Goodfellas first, and I was like 12 or 13 when he showed me Goodfellas.
Wild. The Godfather is way less violent than Goodfellas.
I know. It totally is. Absolutely.
Yeah, you see a lot less violence in The Godfather than you do in Goodfellas. Jesus.
That is so true. Yeah, there's violence in The Godfather, but Goodfellas is certainly far more violent.
Yeah. So back to Fletch, which is much more lighthearted. Chevy Chase actually has said in interviews that this is his favorite of all of the movies he's ever made because it let him be himself.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And there was one thing about this film that while I was watching it for the podcast this week that really made me nervous because John has mentioned this is a pet peeve of his in the past, a very repetitive theme song or a theme song that is used over and over and over again throughout a film.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the theme score, I should say, for this film is used repeatedly. And so I was a little bit nervous there, but thankfully John was able to get past it and still thought the movie was hilarious.
Yeah, it's just so it's funny to be like it's so 80s, but it is. It's totally 85
synth music.
The
It absolutely
bass,
is.
synth, and electric drums. Just like, oh boy.
Yeah.
But yeah. But speaking of soundtracks, I didn't even mention that Danny Elfman actually scored my movie this week of Midnight Run.
Oh my God, that's right. We didn't talk about it. I even wrote it down.
No. Yeah, I did too, and it completely, I can't read my own fucking handwriting.
That's true. God, it's chicken
I saw the
scratch.
D, and then it was just scribbles after that.
Yeah, but I had written it down this week when I was watching Midnight Run because watching the credits, I totally hadn't caught it before. Oh shit, it's Danny Elfman.
Mm-hmm.
He pops up from time to time in really random films that you never would have guessed he scored because his work with Tim Burton is always so iconic that you always just think of that.
Yeah, he's got a lot of really great soundtracks elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. He really does, and so I'm really glad you mentioned it because it is something that that I'd written down and I totally forgot to bring up.
Perfect.
But beyond the score for Fletch, there are a couple of songs in the movie that are really fun. One of them, the theme song is Bit by Bit, which is really great. And it's kind of funny because Alan Stanwyck tells Fletch while he's walking him through his cancer diagnosis and everything that his bone cancer will eat him up bit by bit. That's literally the line in the movie. And then Bit by Bit is the theme song for the whole film. It's hilarious. But it is a good theme song. And Get Out of Town during the car chase scene, which is a very fun car chase, by the way, that I didn't even bring up before.
Yeah. Yeah, that car chase is a lot of fun.
Especially with the kid in the car. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. That kid was very strange looking.
Well, poor kid had a big old gorilla braces back in the 80s.
Yeah, that's very true. Yep.
Oh god, that must have been so rough. And lastly, I wanted to save this piece of BTS for the end because it's such a great connection to our two films.
Oh.
In his 1989 autobiography, It Would Be So Nice If You Weren't Here, which is the title of it. Charles Grodin mentions he was considered for the lead role of this film.
Oh, wow. That would have been something else.
I don't think he's fast-paced enough for
Yeah,
this.
he's just so calm and collected.
Yeah, and he doesn't have... Chevy Chase has a little bit of an arrogance to him, a little bit of a chip on his shoulder to him.
He's certainly got a lot of arrogance.
Well, I mean, in real life, too. Yes, that's absolutely true. But just in film, it comes through the screen that he's got this bit of schmoozy arrogance to him, and it just works for his characters, and I don't think Charles Grodin could have pulled it off, even though Charles is very funny.
Yes, no, I agree with you on that.
So the good news is that Fletch had a budget of $8 million. It was filmed all around Los Angeles. You and I recognize most of the locations, especially the freeway where they filmed the car chase. It's down in Long Beach, and I've worked on that freeway for a couple of projects, I think.
Oh, wow.
It's probably one of the reasons why I recognized it. And the great thing is, on an $8 million budget, it made $50 million in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
And $60 million worldwide.
Nice. Damn, did very well.
It did very, very well. Did well on VHS and DVD sales, too.
Awesome.
At one point, I did own the DVD to this movie.
Oh.
And you can watch it, just like your film, on Netflix.
That is where I watched it.
Fabulous. Well, that is Fletch. I'm so glad you liked it, and I was very happy to be able to introduce you to a new film this week.
Yeah, me too.
We haven't done that in a little while. At least I haven't. I know you introduced me to some horror movies last month, but it's been a bit since I've introduced you to a new film. So those are our two 80s comedy picks of the week. John, would you watch Midnight Run with your grandma?
I don't know if it would have been up my grandmother's alley.
Okay.
So I don't know. I would have given it a shot at least. And V, would you watch Fletch with your grandmother?
Oh, totally. Both of these films are pretty family friendly. Yours a little less so because Robert De Niro is just so angry in it the whole time.
Yeah.
There's a lot more cussing in your film than mine, but I would say 15 or 16 above only because I think any younger and they wouldn't really be entertained by either of these movies.
I gotcha.
But I hope those of you listening have either watched these films before and have gotten reminded or are now interested in giving them a shot. Like we said, they're both on Netflix right now, and both certainly worth watching.
Absolutely.
So thank you all so much for joining us this week. And for next week, we are doing a genre we don't do very often here because we picked romantic dramas.
Mm-hmm.
John, you want to tell everybody what you chose?
Yeah, why not? I chose a film from 2011 that I've only seen once, but I remember actually enjoying it, and this was before I was actually a Robert Pattinson fan. This film is directed by Francis Lawrence. He just had a new movie come out this year called The Long Walk, which I was a big fan of. This movie stars Reese Witherspoon, Robert Pattinson, and Christoph Waltz. This is Water for Elephants. If you care to follow along, it is currently on Disney Plus or Hulu.
And Hal Holbrook's in it.
That's right, Hal Holbrook.
And it's a really good book.
Oh, well, I remember seeing the trailer and really being taken with the trailer. I never saw the movie in theaters. I did watch it at home, but I remember liking it, so I'm excited to revisit it on my end.
Awesome.
And what is your choice for next week?
I picked a film from 2015, also based on a book, also a book I've read, starring Carey Mulligan. This is Far from the Madding Crowd. Unfortunately,
never even heard of this movie.
Oh, okay. I remember seeing a trailer for it, and I thought it looked so beautiful that I did the same thing. I wanted to read the book before I saw the movie in theaters.
Nice.
I, too, have only seen it once, though. I'm really excited to revisit it. Unfortunately, it's not streaming anywhere, so you can rent it from most streaming services for $3.99.
All right.
So those are the two romantic dramas that we are picking next week. Thank you all so much for joining us. We hope you had just as much fun as we did discussing these comedies. Please go ahead and give them a shot or revisit them if you haven't seen them in a while. And until our next episode, dropping next Wednesday, please rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on whatever app you use to listen to us. And go ahead and reach out to us if you have any questions or feedback or ideas for movies that we can cover, or if you have any suggestions for an episode theme. Love to hear those too.
Yeah.
We just love hearing from you in any way, shape, or form you guys like to reach out. We're at MoviesMissPod on all the social media and at gmail.com. And until our next episode, we close out with film as a form of art, and in art, every opinion is valid, except if you think
Robert De Niro can't be funny.
Oh my God, I cannot wait to do Analyze This at some point on this podcast.
I think I'm going to pair Showtime with Eddie Murphy with Analyze This.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen Showtime in a long time, but I remember it being very, very entertaining.
Awesome. I have never even heard of that film.
Oh, wow. All right, cool.
All right, everyone. Until next week. Bye-bye.
Cheers, everybody.